Number 4, Cooper Hannigan. Number 6 and captain, Lachlan Everett. Number 10, Luka Knezovic. Number 12, Lachlan McGrath. Number 18, Charlie Rad. Number 19, Riley Cox-Barlow. Number 22, Jonathan Sabatu. Number 23, Thomas Mako. Number 37, Robert Erarugo. And number 47, Ethan Beeman. On the bench, number 5, Jet McHugh-Shaw. Number 7, Michael Marchich. Number 8, James Letta. Number 9, Jacob Malbasa. Number 17, Martin Fernandez. Number 21, Sebastian Alfara. And number 40, William Lucas. And for your Sydney Olympic team, in goals, number 40, Anthony Carreras. Number 2, Peter Politis. Number 3, Samuel Bosinger. Number 4, Joshua Hong. Number 5, Ziggy Gordon. Number 16, Bailey Callahan. Number 21, Sebastian Kukuka. Number 24, Ben Geisen. Number 33, Maximilian Lubrich. Number 34, Marcus Fernandez. Number 35, Peter Grozos. On the bench for Sydney Olympic, number 1, Josip Orlovich. Number 10, Lucas Williams. Number 11, George Luca. Number 13, Liam Saba. Number 18, Jun Yong Kim. And number 19, Anton Isako. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome both teams onto the pitch. Sydney Olympic and NSW Raiders.
Welcome to Wednesday night action of the NPL Men's New South Wales competition. It is a round 17 catch-up game here at Belmore Oval. The host Sydney Olympic playing host to SD Raiders. Thank you for joining us on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. I'm Dom Cronidi. Thank you again for joining us. It is a beautiful night here in Belmore and should be a really high quality clash here between two sides that really need a win to continue in their search to stay up in this competition in 2026. We'll get to the starting lineups for both teams, starting with the host, Sydney Olympic, Michael Miletto, the coach, having to make one change, and that being Daniel Wong, who had a bit of hammy tightness, so nothing serious there, just a bit of precaution. And he's the only change in the starting lineup that consists of number 2, Peter Politis, number 3, Samuel Bosniak, number 4, Josh Hong, number 5, Ziggy Gordon, number 16, Bailey Callahan, number 21, Sebastian Kogucha, number 24, Ben Giazon, number 33, Max Lubrich, number 34, Marcus Fernandez, number 35, Peter Grossos, and the keeper, number 40, Anthony Carreras. The bench for Sydney Olympic, the backup goalkeeper, Josip Orlovic, number 1, number 10, Lucas Williams, number 11, Georgios Luka, number 13, Liam Saba, number 18, Jong Yong Kim, and number 19, Anton Isako, rounds out a very young bench for Sydney Olympic, who going through a bit of roster turnover as the transfer window just slightly, well, it's in the distance, in the not too far distance that it'll be open, so a few players departing the club, and obviously it's going to be a pretty congested, say, next couple of months for both of these teams, with 2 cup fixtures running side by side, and you don't know how long that's going to go. And also Sydney Olympic have to have one eye on the Australian Championships at the end of the year. It's going to be a busy, it's just a busy all-round year, really, for Sydney Olympic these days and all the Australian Championship sides. We are just about to get underway here, and it's going to be Josh Hong up front wearing the number 4. Not sure how I feel about that, but such is modern football. And we are underway at Belmore Oval. Sydney Olympic right on the press. Heavy right side, 3 players going up there, and it's going to be the SD Raiders who come up with the ball but are trapped in their own end pretty early, and a nice little win back from the start there from Kokucha, and try to get it out for a corner, but he'll win a throw pretty deep into Sydney Olympic's territory, and we'll get you the SD Raiders lineup as soon as play calms down a little bit. We are probably about 10-20 seconds in here and already on the attack, Sydney Olympic, which is good to see. Callahan, long throw. Headed pretty clearly, but straight back through to Callahan, and first, I'd say, chance of the night. Falls the way of the host, Sydney Olympic, but pretty easily cleaned up by the goalkeeper, Michael Figueira. So we'll get to the SD Raiders lineup then. As mentioned, in goals, number 1, Michael Figueira. Number 4, Cooper Hannigan. Number 6, the captain today, Lachlan Everett. Number 10, Luka Knezvich. Number 12, Lachlan McGrath. Number 18, Charlie Ragg. Number 19, Riley Cox-Barlow. Number 22, Jonathan Sapatu. Number 23, Thomas Mako returns to the starting lineup, along with number 37, Robert Eramugo. And number 47, Ethan Beaton, rounds out that starting 11. And the bench, a couple of new faces on there, including number 5, Jet McHugh-Shaw. Number 7, Mihail Maric. Number 8, James Leder. Number 9, Jakov Malbasa. Number 17, Martin Fernandez. Number 21, Seb Malfara. And number 40, William Lucas. As SD's first real chance there, going a bit wayward. Robert Eramugo, the League One Men's Player of the Season last year for the Rugby Lions. Snapped up pretty quickly by the SD Raiders when they submitted their spot in the top flight of NPL competitions in New South Wales. It's been a pretty interesting season thus far for the SD Raiders. Started off in 2 back-to-back losses, coming in their debut season in the first flight. 1 win in their first 6, but since then, 5 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws in their next 10. It's really looking uphill for the SD Raiders, but as I mentioned at the top of the call, it's going to be a bit of a fixture congestion after they book their tickets in the next round of the Australia Cup as a long ball through, try to go out wide there to Peter Grossos, one of the star attackers for Sydney Olympic, and pretty easily cleared by Michael Figuera. So ironically, this matchup we very well could see in the Waratah Cup final, with both these sides punching their tickets to the Waratah Cup semi-final. Sydney Olympic will play Sydney United 58, the reigning Waratah Cup champions, and the SD Raiders will take on Apia Leichhardt, who, funnily enough, are the last team to hand the SD Raiders a defeat, and that came on the 5th of May, so nearly 5 weeks since their last defeat in all competitions. Obviously 2 wins in the Cup along there, and as 2 for their opponent, Sydney Olympic. As Thomas Mako resets possession here, sends it out to Bevan. Long ball through, trying to get Cox Barlow. Gets on the end of it, but Ziggy Gordon, the wily veteran, knows what to do there. Arms tucked behind the back as well, the old school move, as the sideline official has given this one a corner. So our first set piece of the game. So plenty of numbers forward here for SD, but just as many back for Olympic, as header cleared by Gordon. Straight back into the possession here of SD Raiders as Hannigan goes out wide. Great ball into the middle, but just a little bit too on target, and pretty easy pickings there for the goalkeeper, Sydney Olympic, Anthony Carreras. Playing a bit lately with Josip Orlovic, who started off the season pretty brilliantly, and wouldn't fault him for much despite Sydney Olympics' relatively poor defensive record. He's done well. Now Callahan. That's a beautiful flick back in by Rag, and try to play it back forward to Cox Barlow, but in the end there's Peter Politis, probably the most experienced backline in this competition, you'd say. Peter Politis, Ziggy Gordon, the amount of caps between them across all competitions in this country. It's a nice little cut in there. There's Kakucha. But no real opportunity presenting itself there, and pretty easily blocked in the end. Now a chance for SD to go the other way. Mako thought about going out wide. He had Rag there and does end up going that way now. Charlie Rag. Back to Seb Hatta. Now Mako, it's a lot of experience. Thomas Mako played for Hills United, Sydney United 58, to name a few of his most recent clubs. Rag. Solid battle there with Politis, and I'd say Politis comes out on top there. Eramugo, nice little flick around, and there's Josh Hong, the recently inserted man, into the starting lineup and gives away a foul. So there's an interesting kickoff tactic there from Sydney Olympic to have Hong, defender, starting off the game, and almost like an NRL kickoff, bombarding it down one side and trying to get the possession back, which they did. Just weren't able to do anything with it in the opening minute, but a good chance here for SD Raiders. Knezovic lines this one up. It's a great ball in and just beats everyone A little bit too much curl on in the end, and it's going to be a goal kick for Sydney Olympic. Luka Knezovic, 2 goals in his last 2 starts for the SD Raiders. We've seen that 2-0 win last week against UNSW, which is just a massive confidence-boosting win for the SD Raiders to get a win over their promotion buddies, if you will, in UNSW. And Knezovic also bagged a goal in the 2-1 win in the Australia Cup tie against Wollongong United, but they've had ample amount of rest, you'd say, for an NPL club lately, the SD Raiders. But yeah, it is going to get real packed for them. They've got another make-up game to play against Sydney FC. They've got the Australia Cup and the Waratah Cup coming up, and that's not to suggest that they'll go any further as well, where those games will just continue to pile up. And the same goes for Sydney Olympic, but the only worry is that they've got the Australia Championship to worry about at the end of the season. But obviously fighting for their NPL lives at the moment. Looked good the last 3 games. 3 games unbeaten. See, last week it was Bailey Callahan who scored his second in as many games in the 93rd minute to salvage a draw against St. George City. And Callahan as well scoring in the 3-2 win against Fraser Park. And if you haven't seen that, I'd recommend watching the highlights. There were some absolute screamers in that game at Fraser Park, but a real early chance there, getting across the face of goal and just mishit it at the crucial moment. Great ball back into the middle. But first to it was Hannigan, and Figuera throwing it over the top there of Grossos. So as Callahan stuck his foot out to that. And Guiazon on the follow-up. That's a rough challenge there. Josh Hong, very, very late. And I'd be surprised if this wasn't a card. Suggestion there by the referee in the middle that is his final chance, final warning before digging into his book there, which you got to say is pretty fair play from the referee. Got to give the players some leniency in the early stages of this game. Obviously only 9 minutes down. You'd hate for this game to be interrupted by a card and have the potential outcome swing, especially when these two sides are just so tightly compacted at the bottom of the ladder. It is pretty crazy how close those bottom 6 to 7 teams are at the moment. Just one loss can almost spell disaster. And obviously Sydney Olympic, with 2 results in their last 2 NPL games, has given them a bit of a boost. Obviously still sitting at bottom with 11 points, but only 4 points away now from Blacktown City, a team whom they beat last time they played them. And got to think a win here would put them within 1 point with both teams on the same amount of games played, whereas Sun District Raiders in 12th place with 19 points, but 2 games in hand essentially, not including this one here. So as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be very, very crucial for both sides to get 3 points here. Good little 1-2 play there. Deflected out for a throw-in of Samuel Bosniak in the left back position, and I think a nice little 1-2. And Steve just struggling to get rid of it a bit there, and as Grossos slipped up at the crucial moment, giving the Raiders a chance to just get it out of pressure for a little bit now, and they'll get the throw their way. It's been a real positive start for Sydney Olympic. Let's see, look to fire something back here. Zapata plays it back to McGrath. Mako just happy to return that one to sender. McGrath again. Nice little give and go there by the skipper for today, Lachlan Everett. Obviously James Leder, the usual skipper on the bench today. Strong clearance, Carreras. Now Grossos bursting onto that one. It's a good header forward there by Fernandez. Callahan. Beautiful floated pass out wide. Guiazon. Try to beat his man there was Sebastian Kakucha, who's been one of the X factors in attack, if you will. This is a pretty good mix of experience and youth for Sydney Olympic, and kind of progressively at the back a bit more experience as you go forward. Lots of youth there, especially on the bench as well. It's a nice little win back there by McGrath. It's going on a little wonder, but as a natural centre-back there, just finding his way back home here at the centre of the park. And he just gave a little signal there to Thomas Mako, just to fill in a little bit there. He's feeling a little bit adventurous there, McGrath. Patzer. Long ball by Hannigan. That is an excellent touch in a tight position there, and this could really spark something for the Raiders. McGrath finding his centre-back pairing. Handed away in the end there by Ziggy Gordon. Now Sydney Olympic looking to reset. Hong coughs up possession in a really risky area. Could be a chance for the Raiders if they play their cards right. Bragg gets past Callahan and went for the shot. Not really troubling Carreras there in the end. Peter Politis. Iramago did really well to stick out a foot and just deny Politis the chance to lob it upfield and reset some possession there. So Sydney Olympic with a goal kick and taking their time with it as well, with a few ball kids out in the park, but none at that end of the field, surprisingly. So Carreras pushing his men up. Shifting all the way to the furthest side of the field, the construction zone, if you will. And header one by Kukucha. Position back in the hands of Hong. In space now, Callahan. Eramugo just looking for a repeat of what he did last time, and Seb Hatter had to deal with that one. To Carreras, doesn't take any chances there, gets it forward straight away, but possession falling back the way of the Raiders, but a commentator's curse striking as always. Grossos now has a go, Peter Grossos. You could tell as soon as the ball bounced up that he wanted to have a dig at that, and the coaching staff for Sydney Olympic not pleased with that, to say the least, if you could see those reactions. Michael Mileto on the sidelines just a little bit upset with that, but I think it's worth a crack. The half volley there on the bounce, so you get the most power for it, and you can really control and get some power behind it. It's been really involved early, this back line for the SD Raiders, and distributing balls forward and almost skipping midfield duo there of Thomas Mako and Everett. Obviously controlling the ball when in their own possession, but when wanting to get things started a bit early, they're more than happy to burst some balls forward. Obviously probably having the pace advantage over this Sydney Olympic defence. As they win the ball back here on that crowded furthest touch line. Nice switch to find Charlie Ragg. An even better overlapping run there from McGrath. Again adventuring forward. Falls back out to Ragg, and his touch is a little bit too heavy. Callahan regathers. Terrace Giazon. That's Callahan now playing it out wide to Grossos. Grossos. Good shot across the face. Falls back out. And that was almost certainly going in. I can't get my words out. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I'm genuinely stunned. A shot off a very, very good save from Michael Figuera. Fell to just the edge of the box, and you got to say that was going in. If that didn't hit the leg of the Sydney Olympic attacker there. Stunning stuff, but Raiders, they don't have time to react to that. They're going to try and go the other way. Ziggy Gordon. Great clearance there and keeps possession. It's an underrated skill of a defender there to diffuse across and keep possession with his side as well. As Bosniak middle now, and that's a really good look and an even better ball to Kukucha. Ball at the back stick, and it almost looked like a shot. And it probably was in the end from Kukucha. It's Callahan just a little bit late getting onto that, but really positive stretch, couple minutes here for Sydney Olympic. Now Seb Hatta. Hiramugo just a little bit heavy on the touch, but a free kick one in the end there. Politis has given up a couple already. The skipper. Taken early by the Raiders. Mako resets as if the ball was still in play there. Everett. Looking for McGrath and just turning Callahan left, right and centre, but good jockeying there by the Olympic striker. McGrath now. He's had a license to go forward and he's definitely used it to the fullest of his advantages so far. Nice little layoff to Mako and out wide with Charlie Ragg. McGrath. Still possession with McGrath. Mako now. Getting adventurous with it, Thomas Mako. I thought he was. Back to the skipper, Lachlan Everett. And a nice ball forward there by Seb Hatta. Picked pockets for Bosniak, who doesn't want to take any chances there again after getting the first clearance. And out for a SD throw. Zapata switching positions there with McGrath almost as he drifts back into his natural fullback position. Long ball forward by Everett. One thing you got to credit both these sides for, it's been a very free-flowing attacking game. Lots of chances created. I'd say Sydney Olympic with the upper hand so far. A couple of real clear-cut chances there. SD Raiders a bit sloppy with possession there and coughing it up. Kukucha trying to get on the end of that, and it was Seb Hatta's header that fell towards him, and chance to start something here. Sebastian Kukucha across the face of goal. And first two, it was Everett. And Josh Hong gets it back just as quickly. Out wide, Grossos gets it in, but headed away by Seb Hatta and straight to Thomas Mako with a brilliant first touch. Beats that midfield trio to unleash Cox Barlow. Out for a throw and a good gain of possession here by the Raiders. It's pretty impressive how quickly they can turn around a couple of real good chances there and dangerous chances that could set some sides back, but SD just memory erasing really. Everett. Nice ball in the middle. And a great shot, but an even better save by Carreras. Got down really low. So that one there from Knezovic. And you can't leave Luka Knezovic with that much space. He almost made them pay there. Great save by Anthony Carreras. Bragg had one too many blue shirts around him there and he's lost possession. And a ball forward, Kakucha just got the wrong bounce of the ball there, otherwise he was probably through for a one-on-one. And Seb Hatter now. Iramugo. McGrath back to Figueira. Everett. Center of the park, Knezovic. Spots the run of Rag, but Politis spotting the ball, getting ahead to it first and winning the ball back for his side. The centre-back pairing has been very, very good so far. Agent like fine wine is an incredible own goal. You wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it. From near the halfway line. A back pass gone wrong, and Sydney Olympic take the lead in the most bizarre fashion you'll see this season. Luka Knezovic, who's been so good for SD Raiders this season. And just a bit of miscommunication costing them a goal there. It looked good as soon as he kicked it. And I was a bit lost for words there, I gotta say, because sometimes you see things on a football pitch that you genuinely don't believe is happening. And that was one of those moments there. And unfortunately for Knezovic, I think that might be replayed a few times. So the first goal of the game, 24 minutes in. And unfortunately, Luka Knezovic has found the back of the net for his own side at the wrong end of the field. Knezovic, just looking at the body language, you almost can't believe what he's done even a couple of minutes after the fact. But game resetting here, and Raiders, as I mentioned earlier, just, you know, quick turnaround in terms of defense to attack and kind of forgetting what Sydney Olympic have thrown at them and not going into their shells. It's been a credit to them and the way this team is coached with a very strong backbone. Header in the air there was taken out, but Grozos now cuts back in and finding some space for Olympic to go forward. Max Lubaric hasn't had much of his usual say in this one at the centre of the park. There's Josh Hong, tried to get past a few Raiders, but got a bit too audacious, and another free kick given away. Sydney Olympic. It's Josh Hong again. He's got to be careful, Josh Hong. Remember, he had that pretty nasty challenge the first 9 minutes of the game where he basically took Lachlan Everett without the ball, but referee played it safe, giving him another chance, and just got to be careful for the remainder of the game. Everett. Across the field now to McGrath. Always hugging that touchline, Seb Hatter. He's had lots of involvement both in attack and defence so far for the Raiders. So the Raiders without defeat in their last 5 games across all competitions. Going back, as I mentioned earlier, to that 3-2 loss to Apia Leichhardt, which is no loss to be chuffed at, really. Like, a pretty good performance against a top 2 side in this league. And they went on to a 0-0 draw with Spirit after that, and then a 2-1 win in the Cup against St. George City, followed by a 2-2 draw with the Sutherland Sharks, and a 2-1 win over Wollongong United in the Australia Cup.
Or if you drop your ID badge, please come up to the announcement desk to pick it up. The name is Harley. It's a white badge.
Grozos goes for it early and cross shot, one of those ones that you probably never admit to, but probably a shot that looked like a cross. Didn't end up going anywhere. It's out for a throw for the Raiders, and Charlie Ragg in a very deep defensive position, trying to push it forward. Pockets picked there by Kakucha. Good ball across the face and picked out pretty easily there by McGrath, but the danger's not over for Sydney Olympic. Zapata. Ragg tried to switch it, and luckily he had a man there. Otherwise, Peter Grossos was probably through with no one chasing him there on that left touchline. Here's Bosniak. Backed himself to get past, but a strong bit of defense wins the Raiders the ball back. Mako. Spotting Ragg in space. Overlapping run. Eramugo. Gets it back from Politis, and he pushed him down just outside the box. And a free kick in a really good position for the SD Raiders. So it looks like Pilatus still down from that. Might have pulled up a bit ginger, and that is not something Michael Mileto will want to see. Speaking to him pre-game, was just conservative about his team going forward, just with before the transfer window opens and before this mega run of fixtures coming up. Basically, we'll be playing essentially every 4 days for the next couple of weeks with the Waratah Cup and Australia Cup fixtures.
Ladies and gentlemen, while we wait for the players to get back, just a reminder, our next home game is actually a Waratah Cup semi-final game here at Belmore Sports Ground next week, next Wednesday, 7 p.m. So hope to see you back for our next game here at Belmore, our Waratah Cup semi-final game against Sydney United Football.
So Politis getting up very, very ginger from that. That could be his last involvement in the game. Knezovic goes early and direct on goal, but a bit too much happening around the goal mouth for the referee's liking, and the Raiders might have shown their cards a bit early there. Might have to switch up the free kick tactic as Peter Politis continues to get a bit of testing there on the sideline to see if he can continue, but substitute being ready to go in case he cannot continue. Knezovic goes direct and well over the bar in the end. Went for the direct approach in the initial shot that was pulled back by the referee.
Just another announcement for Harley. You left your pass in your Uber on your way to the game tonight. If you are in the ground
So Peter Politis is off. Liam Saba will take his place. So Politis didn't look too serious, probably just soft tissue injury.
For Sydney Olympic, coming off, number 2, Peter Politis, and he's replaced by number 13, Liam Saba.
So going to the bench early, Michael Mileto. Forced one, but Saba will get a good hour and a bit of game time here to show what he can do. Alongside Ziggy Gordon, Bailey Callahan and Samuel Bosniak in the back four for Sydney Olympic. Speaking of, Bosniak goes the direct approach forward, and McGrath happy to let that one roll out for a goal kick. Playing very high from the get-go there, the Raiders, despite the short restart from the goal kick. Kinezovic. Just walking it up, trying to get past Kakucha. Does so. Ziggy Gordon picking the pockets of Riley Cox-Barlow, and this long ball forward to Kakucha, just a bit too strong. Now for a throw in possession. Back the way of the visitors. SD Raiders. Sephatsa. He goes long and forward to Kinezovic, but again headed out for a throw. Charlie Ragg back to Sephatsa. McGrath. Ragg. Had the head start on Kakucha and looked to go to the line, but Bailey Callahan just telling him not today, son. Resetting now through the back. McGrath. Thought about going forward a bit there, but Marcus Fernandez stopping him in his tracks. Great ball out wide, and again an even better touch. Trying to get past Bosniak, and a good ball in the middle, but first away. Looking to take the quick throw. They'll get there eventually. Seb Hatta. He's got space to go forward if he wants, and opts to go through Ragg on the unoccupied left wing there. The game just slowing down a bit. It really feels like that goal just kind of burst the bubble a bit. Sydney Olympic now happy to sit back and invite a bit of pressure in from the Raiders, backing themselves defensively. It's going to be a tough challenge to crack this defence. Sydney Olympic defence looks strong and solid so far. See if that can continue throughout the remainder of this half, as the direct approach was no good in the end there by Thomas Mako. As Iramugo tried to make the run over the top, but Bosniak got to it first. And now Grozos thought about going early and just cuts back in, but doesn't have many options in the centre of the park, with everyone probably thought he was going into the box. Now back out that way, Bosniak, as he's through ball to Peter Grossos cleared. Bevan into the back there of Grossos, and free kick given away. Raiders sending everyone back for this one. Not looking to concede a goal on the eve of half-time here. Looping ball in, but pretty easy pickings for Michael Figuera. and sending Cox Barlow through pretty easily, and the shirt drag as obvious as you like, and that might be the easiest yellow card given this season. Max Lubitich. With the professional foul. No harm done there, but Cox Barlow probably did have him beat for pace. Bevan. Knezovic. His pass goes straight to Fernandez, and Fernandez got a bit too excited. Peter Grozos hasn't completed his run yet. He's going forward, and Marcus Fernandez just trying to play it a little bit early there, and Raiders defense cleaning that one up with relative ease. No real pressure there, and get a gel free card after a pretty poor pass from Thomas Mako. Even going long to Cox Barlow, and he thought he had his man beat there, Josh Hong, but pushing the back court and a free kick. So as things stand, Sydney Olympic would be 1 point off getting out of the automatic relegation spot. Headed forward by Fernandez, and a last-ditch clearance there by McGrath. Can ignite a counter-attack here for the Raiders. Again, plenty of touches from this Raiders backline. Bevan, great direct pass to Cox Barlow. Knezovic in and around that one. Now Thomas Mako going forward, and a late lunge at it. Referee giving the foul in the end there. Went for the slight advantage, but Thomas Mako beat about 4 Sydney Olympic players there, but it was just one too many in the end, and the outstretched leg catching Josh Hong there. It's going to be a free kick for Sydney Olympic. Carreras with a really solid ball there, forcing a backtracking header from Seb Hatter. And now the substitute Liam Sava with his first attacking input of the game. Calling for a foul there after the challenge of Thomas Mako, but a goal kick awarded instead. So plenty more action coming across the Football New South Wales YouTube page this weekend from the NPL New South Wales men's competition. There's a chance here, goes well over, and took a deflection on the way up, which made sense in the end there from Cox Barlow, but a corner. And Knezovic really keen to take this one nice and early. So lots of attention on Anthony Carreras here, and headed away, deflected at the edge to Everett, and couldn't get a real good connection on it. And a good chance wasted there for Raiders. The Southern Districts tied 6th at the moment for the most goals scored in their 16 games played, 24 scored. Amongst those scorers, as I mentioned, Luka Knezovic He's bagged 3 this season. But Fernandez, their leading goal scorer on the bench. 6 goals this season. Charlie Ragg's got 3. Yakov Malbasa, he's got 3, and he's got 2 in his last 3 across all competitions. And obviously Noah Chinesi, he's got 3 as well. Robert Iramugo, he's got a couple. And Hannigan, Bevan, Letta, and Cox Barlow, all with 1 to their name. In the NPL competition, it must be said, for SD Raiders. In a bit of danger there was Charlie Ragg, who just absolutely launched that one out wide. And it hasn't worked out horribly. Good chance to get a cross in here, and it's low driven across the face of goal. Didn't take a deflection, and that one is out for a goal kick. Carreras goes very long with that goal kick. Held up initially there by Fernandez and regathered in the end there by Lubaric. Carreras' first time repeats the goal kick essentially. And that ball's fallen perfectly to Bailey Callahan. Advantage played. Grozos. Fernandez. Safe option. Saba. Goes long and at the back, and a pretty easy chest to Michael Figuera there from Cooper Hannigan. Hannigan in acres of space out wide there. I wonder if they'll go that way. They won't have the chance though. Josh Hong wins possession back, goes for goal, and no real power on that one, and a pretty easy save for Michael Figuera. And they'll breathe a sigh of relief there. I think myself included got a bit too excited with space out wide for Cooper Hannigan. Possession coughed up again in the middle of the park by the Raiders. But it's one back, and Iramugo now to Cox Barlow, cuts in, but Bosniak gets to it, and he'll send that one out for a corner. Would have wanted to throw, but beggars can't be choosers in that situation. And Charlie Ragg. Thought they were going for the short option there with Hannigan, but Charlie Ragg's going to step up to this one. Had a couple promising set-piece opportunities so far. Good head, Iramugo just missed it. Falls to the edge of the box for Knezovic. Just slicing that one away. Pretty easy defusal there of the corner situation for Sydney Olympic. As Anthony Carreras in absolutely no rush to get that ball. Shorter this time from the goal kick for Carreras. A nice flick over the top there from Kakucha. Fernandez, even better ball to find Kakucha again. And he gets past Ragg. Sebastian Kakucha! Great block there. Stopping a potential goal for Sydney Olympic. And one back again by Kakucha. Goes to the near post. Figuera gets down low and gobbles that one up and ignites the counter-attack, which will be halted instantly by the referee as he calls half-time. It is 1-0 to Sydney Olympic. We'll be back here in about 15 minutes.
Sydney Olympic 1, SD Raiders.
It's a sunny afternoon around Sydney town. Looking forward to how this game goes. And oh, geez, I tell you what, that is plucky. Lawal just got his rump in. A wipe with a towel. We're in injury time as we speak. Still waiting for the board. I think it's going to be 1 minute of additional time. And as the ball comes inside, a goal. Well, he got himself in a lovely position. The Sky Blues. There's Lawal has got possession. Lawal now teetering in the area, has the shot, goes past Hillside. Just like the first half, he gets the opening goal. They're on the charge for another here. Abdul Rahman, dangerous, inside. Lawal, he's coming back and being told it's Lawal now. Works it on, here's a chance. Abdul Rahman, another goal. Check on the Googling machine. Now Lawal's got the chance. Yep, make it 4.
This is a really important kick of the football. From 12 yards, Jack Fulton scores!
Kobayashi. Nizam peeling to his left is Kobayashi, but Nizam will take the shot and he buries it. Khan Nizam. Nizam in front of him. 1-2 from Jack Stewart. He gets a better side of him. Michael Cooter cuts it back, looking for Court! And Max Court finds the back of the net. And just like that, Apia. Kobayashi skips inside and has Fong to his right, and Cameron Fong will get to it first and can measure a nice ball in. Cutback ball. Onto the penalty spot it goes. And Presley Ortiz
crosses back in again. Yeah, it's cleared away nicely to Tafu. Tafu drives in the shot. Takes an awkward bounce. Oh, and it's gone in. A ball has gone in there. Mason to Tafu with the shot.
It's a couple of times now where they've been guilty of perhaps throwing the long ball too quickly. Muri Najjar, the flag has stayed down. A huge chance for Rockdale! Never think you know which way a game of football's going. Of course, to get one over there. Emergent enemy, that is a brilliant switch of play though. And an opportunity for Marconi to equalise. Another great save from Kane. Oh, brilliant. It's cleared away again. And then bashed in by Armson.
Now, free kick taken short. Olsen back on his feet. Curves it into the box. And it's going to be finished in the back post. Sutherland.
Welcome back to Belmore Oval. Second half of action here between Sydney Olympic and SD Raiders. Sydney Olympic holding a 1-0 lead. It's the final 45 minutes of play. Moments away here. And if you missed it, the opening goal, you can check out the NPL New South Wales socials for that clip, because it was a truly remarkable goal in a bad way for the SD Raiders. Luka Knezovic looked for a back pass from about the halfway mark, and a bit of miscommunication there with his goalkeeper, Michael Figuera. And it just rolled into the back of the net. And at that time, it just seemed like time went slow for a couple seconds there as the ball just trickled into the back of the net. And no changes to report for either side. Obviously, we had an early substitution. Peter Politis, bit of a blow there for Sydney Olympic, had to come off, and Liam Saba replaces him in the back line. As Kakucha with the cross there, which was easily headed away by McGrath. And Josh Hong just putting a little dent into the run of Knezovic. Now that man, Hannigan now. Looking to beat Peter Grossos, and Grossos has his arm wrapped around his shoulder like they were going for a chat. Hannigan pushed down by Grossos, and just a little too much contact there for Peter Grossos. Now, a really good chance for SD Raiders. They really need to get off the ground running here early. The Sydney Olympic did control most of that first half, and the Raiders were more than happy to let them control possession and hit them on the counter-attack, which gifted them a few chances, but they've had lots of set pieces and lots of free kicks like this. Luka Knezovic, great ball in the middle, headed away by Hong, and Grossos not trying to get anything started, just getting it out of danger for now. As another slip up, Figuera fluffs his lines. Fernandez across the face of goal, and it's just overrun, and a golden opportunity for Sydney Olympic missed. It's another one of those moments. I said it earlier in the game. It doesn't happen that often, and you have to see it to believe it. And if that went in, that might have been the end of me, as the free kick was taken while the ball was still rolling there. Cooper Hannigan called for that, and just have to let the ball sit. There's Bevan, who's been a spectacular riser the last couple of weeks for SD Raiders, been the star performer, as had Luka Knezovic. Ben still has had a pretty good game today. Seb Hatter. Hannigan try to pick out Cox Barlow, and his Giazon first to it. Lubadic will regather there in a pretty sticky situation for the Olympic defence. Yeah, we'll wait to see what the diagnosis there was for Peter Politis, because he actually gave the foul away and got injured in the process, and probably didn't look too serious. Possibly a hamstring issue, and there's a free kick given there for Sydney Olympic. But Peter Politis, since he's returned from his injury, has really solidified that back line, especially with his partnership with Ziggy Gordon, just the amount of games between them, not only for Sydney Olympic, but just across their careers in general, really. Bosniak, cool under pressure, gets past one, and Iramego got a touch to it, but he's still with it now, Bosniak. Fernandez, great ball. Grossos goes first time. Just a touch onto it there. McGrath, only as far as Giazon with his clearance. Here is the left back. As Fernandez tried to play it back to Hong, and Thomas Mako was there. Now Charlie Ragg. Nice ball out wide to Rag. Rag and Hannigan have had some great touches out wide as Cox Barlow through, and an excellent stop by Ziggy Gordon. Offside in the end there, Cox Barlow, but Ziggy Gordon expertly getting through there and getting a foot to the ball. Would have been a corner if not for the offside. So possession going a bit around like pinball in the middle there, but Charlie Rag now as the Raiders claim their stake in it, and the commentator's curse striking again there. Now the other way, good flick on by Fernandez. Callahan's through, Peter Grossos, acres of space out wide and just doesn't get enough curl on it. Michael Figuera first to it. Quick feet there by the SD Raiders number 1. Now Hannigan turning on the Jets. Looks to go across the back of the Olympic defence to Cox Barlow, but Ziggy Gordon first to it. And now it's Seb Hatzer. I was talking in the halftime break to our reporter, Dimitri Carlos, and we were saying how it's just such a remarkable turn of events from the last time these two sides played, where Sydney Olympic beat SD Raiders 5-1. A few scorers that day: Fernandez, Luca, Ziggy Gordon, Adam Basic and Kamura. A few of those players no longer with the club, but it's just a pretty wild turn of events for Sydney Olympic, considering how strong they started the season to find themselves at the bottom of the ladder. Although very positive signs, as I mentioned, the last couple of weeks. 3 games without a loss across all competitions, and obviously game are coming very fast for Sydney Olympic. They've got a game on Saturday. They travel to Christie Park to play Spirit, and then they'll be back here on Wednesday for the Waratah Cup semi-final with Sydney Olympic on the 17th of June. And then back here 4 days later, on the Saturday for a 5 o'clock kickoff with Rockdale Linden. So a real tough next couple of fixtures, and if they can get through that with at least a couple of results, I mean, just the positivity around the changing room will be electric, and you can really feel that start to translate here onto the playing field. With ever since Michael Melito's taken over, just very calm presence to have on the sideline. Meanwhile, for SD Raiders, they will be playing on Sunday, the only game this Sunday, travelling to Rockdale Linden before the Waratah Cup semi-final against Apia Leichhardt, and then returning to a local derby, if you will, the next Sunday against the Sydney Olympic at the Sydney United Sports Centre. Lachlan Everett wearing the captain's armband today. Gazon diffuses that long ball. Goes back the way of the SD Raiders defence. McGrath. So Michael Melito just continually looking over his shoulder at his substitutes warming up. He's got Georgios Luca, Liam Saba already on, Jong Yoon Kim and Anton Isako, and Lucas Williams on the bench for his disposal. So very young bench, but maybe some fresh legs coming on as Knezovic and Giazon tripping each other up. Referee plays on by way of advantage to Sydney Olympic. Now wide, Fernandez has his pockets picked by Seb Hatzer, and plenty of space to go forward now with a few options. Cox Barlow timing his run and just drifts in to give Mako that option, but he sends it out wide to Knezovic. Soft touch from the number 10. Hannigan. Now back to Everett. Just playing it between themselves now, Bevan. Seb Hatza as 2 substitutions being lined up, maybe 3 substitutions being lined up here for the SD Raiders. Seb Malfara, one of them, taking his jacket off, and Bud Fernandez as well. Long ball by Mako. Cox Barlow almost gets to it, and Carreras lost his handling on it there, off the bump of Cox Barlow, but regathered very quickly and sending it out of danger as quick as he can there. Turning his way through to goal, Kakucha just stepped over his own feet there, really. Had Sep had a beat for pace. And just recovering from that now, Kakucha. Josh Hong winning possession back, but Kukucha wasn't back in time and he's offside. So both sides making a substitution here. It's going to be Georgios Luka coming on for Sydney Olympic as well. So triple substitution for SD Raiders. The third substitute coming on will be Jeb McHugh-Shaw. Thomas Mako was expecting Rag to be a bit deeper. He wanted to go forward, and it just trickles out of play. So Seb Hatza making way as part of this triple substitution. Lachlan Everett, the captain as well, will make way. As does Luka Knezovic, who looks absolutely gutted after that own goal. And got to say, really didn't play that bad at all. Pretty solid performance from Knezovic, but one he needs to forget about.
Raiders. Coming off, number 6, Lachlan Everett. Number 10, Luka Knezovic. And number 22, Jonathan Sabatu. And they were replaced by number 5, Jeff McHugh-Shaw. Number 17, Martin Fernandez. 21, Sebastian Malfara.
Straight to the action now for Martin Fernandez. Also, Cox Barlow it was, as Bevan tried to play him through. Fernandez roaming in the centre. Cox Barlow have some company in that attacking third. The SD Raiders top goal scorer in the NPL New South Wales men's competition this season with 6. 6 of the 24 goals scored this season. Bevan dropped a bit more defensively. The first time through ball there by McGrath. Eramugu almost got to it, but Carreras, comfortable collection. So Seb Malfara wearing the captain's armband, controlling the centre of the park. It's Hannigan, just a little bit too heavy on the touch. Be disappointed with that as they give Sydney Olympic a throw just metres away from the corner flag. It's going to be Ben Giazon, probably looking to launch a long one here. Headed away by McGrath. The first time clearance by Hannigan's not bad, but only as far as Bosniak. Saba. Kucha. Trying to turn some fresh legs there, and that wasn't working out too well for him. It's going to be a throw for Sydney Olympic despite the protest. Here's Grozos. And he'll look for a corner, but it's going to be a goal kick. He's got a good burst of pace out there on the right. Just unable to get past McGrath in the end. And another substitution here by SD Raiders within quick succession. It's going to be Mihail Marcic. Hannigan. Nice little 1-2 with Seb Malfara and an even better ball to Eramugu.
Substitution for ST Raiders. Coming off number 19, Riley Cox-Barlow. And he was replaced by number 7, Mihail Marcic.
It's a confirmation. The substitution there was Riley Cox-Barlow. Had a few good chances there, but was held out for the most part by Ziggy Gordon, Liam Saba, and Peter Politis when he was on the pitch. Tried to go the long approach, and it didn't work many times for Cox-Barlow, as a foul conceded there by Hannigan. And Sydney Olympic, as the minutes tick towards the end of the game, will just happily take their time on these set pieces, if you will. I'm not going to say time wasting, they're just taking their time. Just under half an hour to go here. Tracking back, header there by Hannigan. Falls into the feet there of Grossos, and now Ben Giazon. Goes long, trying to pick out Kakucha, but just an abundance of green jerseys there to stop that in its tracks. Bevan going forward and invited to do so by the Sydney Olympic midfielders. The first time pass from Martin Fernandez. Not the greatest. Deep throw by Giazon. Grossos gets a head onto it. Sorry, it's Callahan. Drifting out from his centre position. Marcus Fernandez. Giazon, good cross, but McGrath bravely stepping up to that one. As Mako tries to keep possession his side's way, and Eramugo does well to win the ball back there. Very physical challenge on the side there, as a few angry Olympic fans looking for a card there. Ooh, don't know about that one. Referee telling Hannigan to take it back, and Hannigan's just launched it into Marcus Fernandez, and if Fernandez isn't careful, he's going to get the leather on him. Hannigan goes short side. Eramugo across the face of goal, and no one's there for the SD Raiders. Didn't look like anyone was expecting it, really. Creative bit of skill there by Robert Eramugo. The referee just giving Anthony Carreras the hurry up, essentially. You could, don't need to be a sign language expert to see him saying, get a move on here, otherwise he's going to start issuing cards. And it's still pretty early in the second half. You don't want to be down the track of yellow cards. The only one so far going to Sydney Olympic was Max Lubaric. As that one goes out on the full by Carreras, who puts his hands up and apologises to his teammates for that one. But they're doing one better. They get the ball back. Grozos. Now Lubanic. A bit of work there to pick out Ziggy Gordon, and Saba try to play it forward to Kakuchu, but taken out, and Bailey Callahan was probably offside there as he was through on goal. That's why the referee called back the infringement there for the free kick just over the halfway line for Sydney Olympic. So plenty of good fixtures to look forward to this weekend in round 19. It's kicking off this Friday, Manly United hosting Sydney United 58, who have a pretty woeful record travelling up to Sydney's Northern Beaches, and Marconi play host to Sydney FC at 8 o'clock at the Palace. As the ball bouncing around here. Defensive headers back and forth, the push in the back, and a free kick for Sydney Olympic in a really dangerous area for the SD Raiders. It looked like Ethan Bevan and Seb Malfara just pushing in the back there of Marcus Fernandez. A few words being exchanged here between a couple of players. Comparing each other's toothpastes, maybe, with that close of interaction. Couple options here for Sydney Olympic, but it looks like it's going to be Marcus Fernandez, the man who won the free kick, with a chance to make it 2-0 and possibly seal 3 points for the home side here. Marcus Fernandez straight into the wall, and Seb Malfara clears it, and a chance for a Raiders counter-attack now. Ziggy Gordon stops that one in its tracks, but it's not entirely over. Well, it's not over for the Raiders. Seb Malfara now regathering. Try to lob it over the top for Thomas Mako. Iramugo putting Giazon under some pressure, and a little push after the fact. That won't go down well. It's the substitutes trying to put a bit of fear into Iramugo here, as the throw-in was taken pretty far back there by Hannigan. Ball in play as another substitution being lined up here. The final of the 5 available for SD Raiders coming on momentarily. It's a good looping ball into the back stick, and it was Bosniak heading it out of danger for now, but the tide just slowly turning now for the SD Raiders, as Yakov Malbasa looking to come on, and Sydney Olympic as well. Georgios Luka was supposed to come on about 10 minutes ago, just held back, and he'll have his chance now. Georgios Luka. Yakov Malbasa on. Straight into the centre, so all attacking options exhausted for the SD Raiders bench. It's all out attack from here. Going direct to the front stick, it's Iramugo. His header just trickled across and looked to have been cleared off by the line. That is a sensational solo ball here, and Olympic with a real chance through Peter Grossos. Got to apologise there to Sebastian Kakucha. I thought it was Peter Grossos making the run down the left side, but Kakucha, the man there, who's had a pretty eventful night so far. Ramugo had a few arms in his back, and he went down, and a free kick awarded. And Seb Malfara steps up to this one as Sydney Olympic get a chance to make their substitution if they want to do so. It doesn't look like they want to do so. As confirmation of the substitution there, it was Thomas Mako.
Substitution for SD Raiders. Coming off number 23, Thomas Mako, and he was replaced by number 9, Jacob Mabasa.
Holding a tight line is the Olympic defence, and it was the direct approach from the free kick by Sebma Farah. Just long of the target there. So speaking of, it looks like it's going to be Peter Grossos who's going to be replaced by Georgios Luka.
Substitution for Sydney Olympic.
Luka straight into the action here.
35, Peter Gross.
Even
And he was
forced to clear.
replaced by number
That's
11,
a beautiful
George
flick on it.
Luka.
Just some great 1-2 play here between Fernandez and Iramugo. Great play out wide. This is a really positive attacking stretch for SD Raiders. And the ball's in the back of the net. A fantastic header from close range. With a bit of afters was the goalkeeper Anthony Carreras and Robert Iramugo. But it almost looked like the linesman lifted his flag, but personally from my point of view, it looked like he just lost his footing and the flag went up.
Goal for
So a
SC
bit of confusion
Raiders,
there from everyone because
scored by number 7, Mihail Marcic.
Mihail Marcic confirmed the goal scorer there.
1. SC Raiders 1.
And it was a really good ball. Two substitutes lining up there, linking up. Jet McHugh Shaw and Mihail Marcic. Figueira forced to header that one away, and Fernandez had a shot, deflected in the end. Now possession one back in a real dangerous area. Here's Georgios Luka. A good win there by the goal scorer, Mihail Marcic. Fernandez goes back stick. Gordon's there, but Iramugo heads it away, and it's going to be another corner for Sydney Olympic. Floats it in the centre. Good header there by Bosniak. But a foul in the lead up there, possibly approaching on the back of his defender there. So this game just went up a notch. "15 minutes or so to play of regulation, and you'd assume there'd be a fair amount of injury time added as well. The substitutions, they've worked. All 5 of them played very early, which you don't see too often, but credit where credit's due. They have changed the game. These fresh legs of the SD Raiders. And there's one of them, Martin Fernandez, making that great run there. Hannigan, he's back pushed a bit there by Georgios Luka, but play on for the time being. McHugh Shaw. Ziggy Gordon, great touch, but just a little bit too close to the touchline there as a throw-in for the SD Raiders. And it's the exact spot where they set up their first goal. They'll be looking for another one real soon. But the script of this game flipped very quickly. Long ball over the top, try to pick out Malbassa, but again, Gordon was there. Another dangerous looking opportunity and a great cut through, and went with the outside of the foot. But Anthony Carreras, not much trouble for him there. It's Charlie Ragg, who one of the few in that attacking third that didn't get replaced. Great touch there by Hannigan as he looks to get past Giazon. It's a strong battle between the two men on the right side of the pitch here. As foul given up there by the goal scorer, Mihail Marcic. Callahan beats Malfara to that header and just clips it off the back there and out for a throw. Going to launch something forward there and spark something through Eramugo. Again, Ziggy Gordon. Sensational defensive performance, as always, really, from the veteran defender. First time ball again, Gordon heads it back into the path of Fernandez. This is something he can really shine in as he goes down from that challenge. Referee says play on, now the other way, Kakucha. Haven't had much attacking chances in the last couple of minutes. Kakucha's ball across the face of goal. Now a chance for the Raiders, but Carreras beating Eramugo to it. And Giazon couldn't get a foot to it. Taking advantage of the no offside from the throw in there, Eramugo, but free kick there. It looks like it's going to be, I thought it would have been a high foot there on Bosniak, but it's a yellow card to Ben Giazon. Seb Malfara, 9 options in the box for him. Try to go direct there to pick out McGrath, but first to it was Marcus Fernandez. A corner kick for the Raiders. So McHugh Shaw on corner duty here. McHugh Shaw goes short and Marcic didn't really get much on it and probably just guided it out to the side netting and a goal kick for Sydney Olympic. Lofted ball into the centre of the park from Carreras. And even though Malfara didn't win it, did end up in the possession of the Raiders, but quickly out for a throw. Now the other way, McGrath battling hard with Fernandez. Pockets picked, McCure Shaw. Marcic. First time pass to Fernandez. Doesn't end up well, and there's probably going to be another card there. It's another yellow. The yellow card there to Max Lubodic. Now, if I've done my counting right, unless it was given to someone else, but Lubodic was put in the book earlier in the first half, and there it is, second yellow, and Sydney Olympic are down to 10 men. A nasty challenge there. The ball just escaped him as Iramugo tried to get around him, and Max Lubodic down to 10 men with 10 minutes to go. Not happy about that, Max Lubodic. Not much complaining in terms of the referee's decision, just a bit disappointed in himself. And you're in a relegation scrap like this, every moment matters, and you just hope that doesn't come back to bite him and Sydney Olympic here. Going long, under. The one-man war there was Fernandez, but no success. A chance to right his wrongs here. Good ball across the face, and a couple of defenders getting in the way there. Calls for handball, which are given in the end. There was Yakov Malbasa. Now Luka gets it through the legs of Hannigan, and the foul called there. Was a pretty physical encounter there. Getting a bit too handsy there, Hannigan. Marcus Fernandez, no wall for the Raiders. Everyone back marking a man. Seb Malfara, the only one in that wall type position. Fernandez just lofts it across. Regathered by Bosniak, who will pick it up for a throw. Figuera gets it restarted, but picked easily by Guiazon. Cuts it across the middle. Fernandez went down. There was calls for a foul. A chance for the Raiders to go forward. Pockets picked again, but a foul. Bevan, yellow card. So the cards coming in abundance after a relatively quiet first half. Ethan Bevan, the latest to go into the referee's book. Fernandez again on set piece duties. It's the same result, unfortunately, for Sydney Olympic. Figuera first to it, and he tries to send Iramugo, but Ziggy Gordon went down, and after losing Peter Politis earlier in the game, you'd hate to lose another experienced defender if you were Michael Melito and the Sydney Olympic coaching staff. You already have Daniel Wong out with a hamstring complaint. Down to 10 men as well, Sydney Olympic. Farah back to McGrath, who assesses his options and tries to go long and direct to Fernandez. Has It's a risky challenge there from Bevan, already on the yellow card, and it's going to be a throw, paid out in the end. Hannigan goes quick. Eramugo. Back to Marcic. Looks to spread it, but Georgios Luka stops that for the time being. Fernandez, pass one, pass two. Martin Fernandez loses possession there to Marcus Fernandez, Samuel Bosniak, I should say, who's found himself in the referee's book for a late lunge there. And Sam Malfire tried to go short. Back to Martin Fernandez, but Ziggy Gordon being called over by the referee. Probably just a warning between the two captains to play football. Don't want to see any more cards issued here. Short option by Malfara. And the follow-up, not really near the target in the end. So Lucas Williams will come on now for Sydney Olympic, who have to very carefully toy the line of keeping the 1 point that they have and trying to go for all three, because you don't want to end up with nothing. Be in the same position you were before this game, especially this being a catch-up game. 3 points puts them one behind Blacktown City in 15th place. So it is Sebastian Kukucha that comes off.
Substitution for Sydney Olympic. Coming off, number 21, Sebastian Kukucha, and he's replaced by number 10, Lucas Williams.
Hannigan. Nice cut back to get past Fernandez. Plays it back to Figueroa. Has to clear it. Tries to turn it into an attacking situation, but Ziggy Gordon says not today. Now Farah loses his footing a bit there, and Fernandez regathers possession. Mikua Shaw does well to win that back and stop the attack in the same breath. And setting up something for the Raiders now. Good little ball inside to Fernandez. Gets it back onto his favoured left. Tries to get it back across the face of goal, but just held off by Liam Saba for the time being. The attacking threat is definitely not over. Mikua Shaw. Cleared away by Gordon. Hannigan. Well, plenty of options forward. Opts to cross it in. It's flicked back into the path. And it's in the back of the net by Malbasa. But the flag is up. And it was almost a defensive lapse there. I believe it was Bosniak who tried to flick it away and inadvertently put Malbasa through on goal, but taking a touch off a Raiders player there, and it's offside in the end. Josh Hong. Just getting it forward with a couple of minutes remaining here. Goal kick taken very quickly now. Bevan. Hannigan, the aggressive approach. Can he get it through? Ziggy Gordon shields off the run of Malbasa, and Carreras in no rush to take this one. Ball just bounce out in a throw for the SD Raiders. They can't tread too lightly here. The time will get away from them. Hannigan. Trying to pick out Marcic, but it fell to Malfara. Q-Shaw now. That's an exceptional challenge by Ziggy Gordon. On Charlie Ragg. Mihail Marcic. through the legs of Giazon, but Saba gets to it. And now Giazon with a nice little 1-2 with Luka. 3 minutes of added time. Now Farah wins it back. Ziggy Gordon again heads it away. And possession won back for Sydney Olympic. Williams. And pushed down there by Hannigan. And it's going to be a free kick for Sydney Olympic. The referee getting involved before things get a little bit too heated. This is Georgios Luka, who initiated the contact but ended up on the ground. Hannigan now, everyone's forward just about. Good ball by Hannigan. Falls to the edge. McCure Shaw. Wasn't a bad effort in the end. And just wide of the target. Will give Sydney Olympic another chance to attack here. Just under 2 minutes to go. Try to keep that one in was Callahan. He's put in a shift and a half tonight, Bailey Callahan. Throw in again on this right side for the Raiders from Hannigan, and it's going to go back the way of the host Sydney Olympic. It's Michael Mileto just giving Ben Gayers on a few instructions. Looking to round out this game now. Luka. Try to cut it in for the fellow substitute Williams. Now McCure Shaw. Great flick on by Eramugo. Fernandez out wide. Try to find the run of Marcic. But it was Giazon who headed it away. The threat's not over. Hannigan. Try to pick out Malbassa in the middle. It's another good stop. And Carreras. Nothing doing there from the second effort. Cross from Hannigan. Hannigan's been very involved in this second half. Carreras just wants it out of there. That could have been the last chance of the game. That's a throw in for Sydney Olympic. Nice work from the ball kid there to dry the ball up for Ben Gayson. To the corner now, and that's the final play of the game. A much needed point for Sydney Olympic. And they survive with 10 men. A good performance in the end. And that'll do it from Belmore Oval, 1-1. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed some Wednesday night action. And tune in this weekend for plenty more from round 19 of the NPL New South Wales men's competition.